Hear it, everybody. Now, welcome to the vocabulary lesson. Now, this is the 68th vocabulary lesson. All right, so here we go. Now, we're going to be talking about ratio, okay? Ratio. Ratio means it's the quantitative relation between two amounts showing the number of times one value contains or is contained within the other. The ratio of men's jobs to women's is 8 to 1. Similar. Proportion, comparative, number, extent, quantitative, relation, relationship, correlation, correspondence, balance, percentage, fraction, quotient. The relative value of silver and gold in a bimetallic system of currency. Ratio means a number representing a comparison between two things. The relative magnitudes of two quantities, usually expressed as a quotient, short for ratio decidendi. Never heard of that before. Ratio means the quantitative relation between two amounts showing the number of times one value contains or is contained within the other. The quantitative relation between two amounts showing the number of times one value contains or is contained with the other. The ratio of water to salt is too high. We measure the water and flour in a ratio of 1 to 3. We are measuring the ratio between two liquids. The ratio of boys and girls in the classroom is 2 to 1. Ratio means it's the comparison number is the whole number. The glide ratio involves the longitude with distance. Ratio means it's a fragment, like 4 and a 6 is a ratio. I mix vodka with juice and 2 to 1 ratio. The act of perfecting your drug to alcohol intake so you maintain or achieve a certain high. If your ratios are out, you're fucked. Man, that joint was exactly what I just. Man, that joint was exactly what I needed. Got my ratios just right. The ratio of BDs to Doonies, guys to chicks at a place at a particular time. 4 guys and 4 girls is a BD ratio of 1.0. 4 guys and 2 girls is a bad BD ratio and is a 0.5. 6 girls and 2 guys is a great BD ratio at 3.0. Man, this 2.0 ratio is awesome. Guaranteed 3 ways for every dude. And that movie, which is Barbershop 2002. Ricky says, all right, hold tight. It's mathematics, cause all right, it's the ratio. Now, if you measure around that woman's waist, all right, measure around that ass, you come up with the ratio about 3.5. Now that means that a 24-inch waist is gonna yield a 40-inch ass. The mathematics is correct, right? That's good, right? And that guy says, so give me an example. I mean, break it down. Ricky says, okay, all right. Jennifer Lopez. Right. Woman with a big ass. Big ass woman. Well, all of them, they're just shouting all over on each other. I mean, well, they're just speaking over each other. Well, they all said that at the same time. Ratio means it's a comparative measure. It has something to do with measurements. The ratio of chicken to rice is 1 to 3 for every part. In this paella, Paella. Never heard of that before, but that's in Spanish. The relationship between two groups or amounts that expresses how much bigger one is than the other. The ratio of men to women at the conference was 10 to 1. 10 and 1. The school is trying to improve its student-teacher ratio. The number of teachers compared with the number of students. Okay, more examples, which is computer ratio of the object's height to its weight. What is the car's power to weight ratio? The staff to student ratio has increased dramatically in the last 5 years. The efficiency of a machine is the ratio between the energy it supplies and the energy put into it. P is the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. A comparison of two numbers calculated by a dividing ratio is also a relationship between two groups or amounts that expresses how much bigger one is than the other. A low student-teacher ratio, the ratio of men to women at the conference was 10 to 1. These are words often used in combination with ratio. Click on the collocation to see more examples of it. Average ratio. Each value is the average ratio for these oocytes. Oocytes. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Well, I never heard of that. Contrast ratio. The patterns had a mean light intensity of 60 cd/m2 and a contrast ratio of 15:1. Ratio test. Cross ratio, depth ratio, acid ratio, cache ratio, glide ratio. Ratio means it is a number associated with a list of 4 collinear points, particularly points on a projective line. A maximum likelihood ratio test is used to determine which covariates, covariates, never heard of that before, are significantly different from 0 and thereby contributing significantly to overall survivorship. Dividing the numbers and getting an answer and like adding and doing different adding situations in the dividend. Let me see. I don't know how to pronounce that, but here. Dividend. That's the one. See that? When I go on my cell phone, this is how I look it up. Right here. There's this audio sound right here. You got to press this.
Dividend.
Again.
Dividend. Dividend. Dividend.
Dividend. Okay? Dividend. Alright, so the next thing here on the board ratio means it compares a number and to another number, which is almost the same. Ratio means it compares a number and to another number, which is almost the same. Ratio means it compares a number and to another number, which is almost the same. 15 men and 30 women, you can have 2 women to 1 man, 2-to-1 ratio. Okay? 15 men and 30 women, you can have 2 women to 1 man, 2-to-1 ratio. 15 men and 30 women, you can have 2 women to 1 man, 2-to-1 ratio. I have 100 starbursts. I have 25 reds, 25 yellow, 25 pink, 25 orange. That's the 1-to-4 ratio. I'm going to take a closer look on this. See this here? That's the 1 and the 4. It's a ratio number. So one of those 2 dots here, that's called a colon. Colon. 2 dots. It's called colon. C-O-L-O-N. The 2 dots here is called a colon. Number 1 equals to number 4 ratio. This is the ratio number. There you go. And then the next thing I'm going to do, which is this here. The ratio of men's jobs to women's is 8-to-1. Means 8 men will have a job before 1 woman. Ratio means it's all the dividing ratio is 8/5, and there's different subsequents and doing parts of different situations. Ratio means it's all the dividing ratio is 8/5, and there's different subsequents and doing parts of different situations. Okay? That's the one. Alright, so here you go. Ratio means it's a comparison number. Ratio means it's the 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 comparison number. One last time. Ratio means it's the comparison number. All right, folks, that's it. The lesson is over. Hope you guys enjoyed the lesson.